it remains a crisis.
It is a crisis, indeed, one that's not going to end anytime soon. And the latest development just in the past hour, the IMF saying that Greece missing a 456 million euro payment that was due Monday. Now its obligations to the IMF totaling 2 billion euros. The IMF board considering a Greek request to have its payment terms extended. The IMF board set to discuss that in the coming weeks. According to the fund in Washington, it is the latest twist, of course, as Greece, as Athens, agreed to this bailout, this $96 billion, 86 billion euro bailout that comes with strict terms. Some are calling it a loss of national sovereignty in some ways. And the Greek prime minister, who campaigned on anti-austerity measures, now will implement these austerity measures if he, in fact, retains his job. It is a perverse turn of events, if you will.
A turnaround, a U-turn, whatever you want to call it, an about-face.
And he is back in Athens now trying to sell this plan. Legislators there, he has until Wednesday to win legislative approval for the central elements of this agreement. It includes sweeping new austerity measures, tax increases, cuts to pensions, and extensive international oversight. Some of the harshest and hardest critics will be his own party, Syriza, the left-leaning party, and members of his own party saying we simply cannot support this. Listen in.
This deal, which introduced many new issues, which speaks of 50 billion euros in guarantees of public property, which speaks of changes in law like those that will lead to the confiscation of homes, which refers to the complete destruction of constitutional value, we cannot agree with it.
So this situation, from an outside perspective, hard to comprehend. He was elected, Mr. Tsipras and his party, on anti-austerity measures. He campaigned hard, pushed hard through these months of negotiations, took a very hard line, which brought the negotiations to the brink. Now, in this rapid turn of events, he's been cornered into this bailout, which Greece must accept if it wants to stay in the Eurozone. That contains even harsher austerity terms than would have been the case before, had they just accepted it from day one. It's very, very hard to understand, but certainly essential if you view the Euro project as one that should stay together, essential to maintaining some sort of unity in the Eurozone.
Probably hard to understand, but really reflective of the reality of Greece that Tsipras is facing, and despite his hard line, perhaps recognizing that it could be so much worse. He's going to have to sell the deal, but no one is leaving unscathed here, certainly not Tsipras and not Angela Merkel either.
And this one, perhaps they saw it coming. Naturally, Germany does have its detractors, but Angela Merkel facing particularly harsh attacks, some of them personal, unnecessarily so, for her stance. Now, let's not forget, Angela Merkel, from the beginning, these past 5 or 6 months of negotiations, stood resolutely and used very measured words. She didn't get emotional, unlike some others in this process, by Greece's side, and said Greece must stay in the Eurozone for the good of the common currency. She maintained that position. Now, there was a sense that trust had been betrayed in the final days. We heard her over the weekend tell reporters on camera that trust has been lost. That was a very significant statement coming from the German Chancellor. The fact that trust was lost not only by the Germans but by other members of the 19 Eurozone member states shows that this bailout needed to have international oversight and drastic terms. But the critics say, well, Germany got its way, it was a coup, it was blackmail, and there's a lot of people in Athens who are not happy with the German Chancellor and Wolfgang Schäuble, the finance minister, who also is viewed as a central culprit, at least from the Greek perspective.